two games, two visions. One question: which action RPG truly stands above the rest? On one side, we have Black Myth Wukong, a game inspired by one of the most famous legends in Chinese mythology. A world filled with gods, demons, and unforgettable boss battles. On the other, there's Phantom Blade Zero, a dark martial arts adventure that blends lightning-fast sword combat with a brutal cinematic atmosphere. Both games look incredible. Both have captured the attention of players worldwide, and both could shape the future of Chinese game development. But when we compare story, combat, world design, visuals, and overall experience, which one comes out on top? Let's find out. In this comparison, we'll examine the strengths and weaknesses of both games across multiple categories. This isn't about declaring one game objectively perfect. It's about understanding what each title does best and which type of player will enjoy them most. Now let's start where every great adventure begins. The story. Black Myth Wukong immediately benefits from one enormous advantage: its source material. The game draws inspiration from Journey to the West, one of the most influential literary works in Chinese history. That foundation gives the world a sense of scale and mythology that's difficult to match. Every location feels connected to centuries of storytelling. Every boss encounter carries the weight of legend. Phantom Blade Zero takes a very different approach. Instead of focusing on gods and mythical creatures, it embraces a darker and more grounded martial arts fantasy. Its world feels dangerous, mysterious, and politically unstable. Rather than asking players to challenge legendary beings, it places them inside a violent conflict shaped by betrayal, conspiracy, and revenge. Neither approach is better. They're simply different. One is mythological fantasy, the other is dark wuxia. The atmosphere of these games couldn't be more different. Black Myth Wukong often feels grand and mysterious. Ancient temples, forgotten legends, towering monsters. A world where myth and reality constantly collide. Phantom Blade Zero feels more intimate and deadly. The environments are darker. The stakes feel personal. And every encounter seems designed to remind players that survival is never guaranteed. If you're looking for epic mythology, Wukong has the advantage. If you prefer dark martial arts storytelling and grounded conflict, Phantom Blade Zero may be more appealing. But the biggest difference between these games isn't the story. It's the way they fight, and that's where things get really interesting. If story draws players into a game, combat is what keeps them there. This is where Black Myth, Wukong, and Phantom Blade Zero take two completely different paths. Black Myth Wukong focuses on adaptability. Players combine staff techniques, magical abilities, transformations, and strategic dodging to overcome powerful enemies. Combat encourages experimentation, rewarding those who learn enemy attack patterns and make full use of Wukong's diverse arsenal. Every boss encounter feels like solving a puzzle. Success isn't determined by button mashing, it's about timing, patience, and understanding your opponent. Phantom Blade Zero, meanwhile, embraces speed. Every sword swing flows seamlessly into the next. Parries, counters, evasive maneuvers, and rapid combinations create a combat system that feels incredibly aggressive. Instead of overwhelming enemies with supernatural abilities, players rely on precision, quick reactions, and technical mastery. One game makes you feel like a mythical warrior, the other makes you feel like a master swordsman. Neither style is superior. It simply depends on what kind of combat experience you enjoy most. A great combat system means very little without a memorable world to explore. Black Myth Wukong presents breathtaking environments inspired by Chinese mythology. Towering mountains, ancient temples, dense forests, forgotten ruins. Every location feels handcrafted, inviting players to slow down and appreciate the world around them. It's a journey through legend. Phantom Blade Zero offers a different atmosphere. Its environments appear darker, narrower, and more oppressive. Ancient cities, abandoned fortresses, rain-soaked streets, hidden pathways. The world feels less like a mythical paradise and more like a dangerous land shaped by conflict and secrecy. Rather than focusing on wonder, it focuses on tension. Both approaches are visually stunning, but they create completely different emotional experiences. From a technical standpoint, both games are among the most visually impressive action RPGs in recent years. Black Myth Wukong showcases cinematic lighting, highly detailed creatures, realistic environmental effects, and spectacular visual effects during combat. Its presentation emphasizes scale. Every boss looks larger than life. Every battle feels like an epic confrontation. Phantom Blade Zero achieves its beauty differently. Its animations are exceptionally fluid. Sword strikes transition naturally from one movement to another, giving combat a sense of realism and rhythm that's immediately satisfying. The game's darker art direction also creates a unique identity, proving that impressive visuals don't always require enormous mythical creatures. When it comes to presentation, choosing a winner is surprisingly difficult, because each game excels at exactly what it's trying to achieve. But one final category may ultimately decide which action RPG stands above the other. And that's the overall experience players will remember long after the credits roll. Ask almost any action RPG fan what they remember most, and chances are they'll mention the boss fights. Black Myth Wukong has already earned widespread praise for its incredible boss encounters. Inspired by Journey to the West, players face towering monsters, mythical creatures, and legendary warriors, each with distinct attack patterns and cinematic presentations. Many of these battles feel less like ordinary fights, and more like unforgettable spectacles. Phantom Blade Zero appears to take a different approach. Instead of relying on massive mythical enemies, the game focuses on fast-paced duels against highly skilled opponents. Every clash feels personal. Every mistake is punished. Rather than testing your endurance against enormous creatures, these encounters seem designed to test precision, timing, and mastery of the combat system. Neither style is better. They simply deliver two very different kinds of excitement. Replayability often determines whether a great game becomes a favorite. Black Myth Wukong encourages players to experiment with different staff stances, transformations, spells, and combat strategies. Learning new techniques and mastering difficult bosses provides a strong reason to return even after finishing the main story. Phantom Blade Zero could offer replay value in a different way. Its technical combat system appears to reward continuous improvement. Players may return simply to perfect, difficult encounters, discover more efficient combinations, or challenge themselves against increasingly demanding enemies. Of course, Phantom Blade Zero hasn't released yet, so until players experience the full game, it's impossible to compare long-term replayability fairly. For now, this category remains open. So, which action RPG reigns supreme? The answer depends entirely on what you're looking for. If you love mythology, breathtaking boss battles, supernatural abilities, and exploring a world inspired by one of China's greatest literary classics, Black Myth Wukong is difficult to overlook. But if you prefer grounded martial arts, lightning-fast sword combat, intense duels, and a darker, more realistic atmosphere, Phantom Blade Zero may become your next favorite action RPG. Instead of competing against one another, these games may actually complement each other. They showcase two completely different interpretations of Chinese-inspired action games. One embraces myth, the other embraces martial arts, and honestly, the gaming industry is stronger because both exist. Now it's your turn. If you could only play one, which would you choose? Black Myth Wukong or Phantom Blade Zero? Tell me why in the comments below. If you enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to Shane Reviews, and turn on notifications for more action RPG comparisons, gaming documentaries, lore breakdowns, and upcoming game analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.